This is wildlife biologist Eric Orff with my New Hampshire YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. Well, here we are rolling into the end of June 2020. So maybe this week's New Hampshire Nature Notes I should talk about what's going on right now. Well, we're really, 3 days? 2 days, 3 days away from the start of official summer. And actually beginning tomorrow, Thursday, we're expected to have a 3 or 4 or even 5 day heat wave up in the 90s. So we got some really hot temperatures coming right up here this week, which means things are gonna, things are gonna be tough on some animals. A lot of heat is not good necessarily for some of our animals that on the nest. The females will have to shade the babies, and I've noticed, like today, here it is midday today, no birds around. I mean, I had a bunch of squirrels here earlier, and birds were calling and singing. It's quiet. So we're almost headed into the dog days of summer. So yeah, we still have plenty of birds around, but when it gets hot like this, midday, they quiet right down. So it's hard to fathom the animals that are around you. They're still here. They're in the shade, they're tucked away, they're cooling down. Moose this time of year, what's called thermal protection. So moose this time of year, they head for the thick fir or maybe a pond to get cool in. So the firs and spruces up north, so it's called thermal zones where they can go and get out of the heat of the summer. And don't you think some of our deer would probably be doing that too? So they're looking for a place to cool down on a day like today, or even more so over the next several days here in the Northeast, where we hit into the 90s. But one thing I've noticed, I've seen a total of only two June bugs so far this year. Growing up in June, if you were sitting, say in the kitchen with the lights on at nighttime, you would just hear the buzz upon buzz of June bugs all over your doors and screens. Dozens of June bugs. They're gone now. So worldwide, our insect populations have plummeted something like 3 or 4% a decade. I recently read. So our insects around the world are in trouble. And things that you might do. Consider if you have an outside light, does it really need to be on all night to attract all the moths to their dunes to your light? So my lights are all on motion sensor, so they come on when I need them and they go off when I don't. So, you can do things like that. Pesticides, cut them back. Don't use them unless you absolutely have to. Down in my garden, the potato bugs have been out the last couple of weeks, so I go down every couple of days and I pick the potato bugs off. Not that I've never killed them with some potato bug killer, but, if they overwhelm me, I do, but I try not to use any pesticides in my garden or never on my lawn. So cut back on your use of pesticides if you can. Our insects are in trouble, and anything we can do to help them out would be a good thing to do. Well, of course, I had already talked about last week about June is fox month, it's turtle month, it's yearling moose month where the yearlings are on the move. So there are animals out and about. You're going to see some foxes out during the day, but middle of the day, not so much. So it's best to get up there in the morning or in the evening. I try to sit outside and listen. Around, I think it was yesterday, it was around, maybe it was even 4:30 or 5 before the robin out front started singing again. And the robin nest that hatched a week ago, the young are pretty big now, so probably it's closing in on another week they'll be fledging. So that means I'm going to be keeping my cat in more. So yeah, if you've got a bird nest nearby, pay attention when the young are about ready to fledge to get out of the nest. Put your cat inside for a couple of days till the young have a chance to disperse away from your house cat. House cats are one of the highest causes of mortality amongst our birds and small mammals across the country. They kill hundreds of millions of our wildlife all across the country. So keep an eye on your cat. You know, if you got a bird nest nearby, you keep them inside when you can. Pay attention to the nest. If you see the birds are getting ready to leave the nest, bring your cat inside for a couple of days till the young have a chance to disperse. So, well, I hear that my wren is still here. The wren is still calling. They have a nest in the box birdhouse out front, not, maybe 40 feet from or 30 feet from the robin nest. So stuff is still percolating here, but during the middle of the day, it kind of quiets down. So you got to really watch and listen to see the occasional bird flying by, and here a wren in this case. They are they're more boisterous than a lot of the animals or a lot of the birds. So we still have lots of things around. Summer's at hand, hot weather's at hand. Animals could be stressed by this weather, so don't stress them any more than you have to. If you see an animal, stay away from it, leave it alone, don't stress it. Don't get near that bird nest and cause the young to fly out onto the ground where they're more likely to be a target. So, if you see a bird nest, look at it from, 15, 20 feet away. Don't go peer into the nest, because if the young are getting close to having some feathers or getting ready to fly, they're going to bolt the nest, and you're going to get them out of there way too soon. So, give them some distance. So, yeah, right now we're moving into summer. It's heating up. Summer's here. And time to get outside and enjoy a cool dip in the water, pond or lake or stream or pool. In my case this afternoon. Yes, it is summer in New Hampshire. It's heating up, and time to stay cool, and hopefully the animals are cooling down too.